Hello and welcome to Unhinged Magi. Yes, it's just me. Hi. Edwin is currently out sick. He will be returning soon, I hope. Otherwise, I'm going to be trapped in a box. No, I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. We're going to be talking about whether or not a person who makes a TCG, or a company that makes a TCG, should be actually caring about the money. Should they? Should they really care about EV and care about making you money? The craziness is my personal opinion, is yes. And I think every company cares about the money. They do. There's no question about that in my opinion. It doesn't matter what they're actually telling the public. And if you could create a secondary market, so that means you created a TCG, trading card game. That means there's a secondary market involved. If you make a card game like Uno or like Munchkin, then you don't care about EV. You make one of every single card, you put it in the box, you're good to go. And any card game can do that. It doesn't matter how elaborate it is. Magic the Gathering could just do that. They could just stick it in the box. Any card game, right? And then you make your set and say, okay, you just go buy 3, you have every single card and that kind of stuff, you're good. And you're good. But if you want to make a collectible card game, you really have to care about EV. You have to care about whether or not the box is good or bad. If you create bad boxes and boxes don't sell very high or they don't go up in value, you probably have a higher cost ratio of people buying your cards, right? Buying your boxes. Because people want to be, to make money or at least to maintain value, right? And EV is all about value. And if you look at any box opening channel, all of them, they all talk about value in some way. Even sports cards talk about value in some way, right? Whether or not the box was bad, the box was good, it's all about money. All right. And so it's any card company that tells you, any trading card company that tells you that they're not caring about that, better lie. 100%. But we're going to just talk about Wizards of the Coast. And I'm going to give you a really good point of reference here. So we have, boom, was this successful or not? The answer is no, we don't consider this successful. The box price didn't go up, right? It's not going up. I think it's actually a good set, but that doesn't matter. I mean, I play these cards all the time on Arena because it's just fun. I like the dungeon thing. I know it doesn't feel like a dungeon crawl. I'm not saying that at all. But I like the effects that it gives. And when I can get it to build up, it like, you storm over them because you get so much draw out of it. But that to me, it's a good set. Midnight Hunt, also a good set. To me, not successful in the market. There's not enough EV in here. Yes, it has several great cards in here, but still not enough EV. Oh, dang it. Again, terrible. We have Zendikar Rising. This was doomed to be successful. It didn't start out that way, but it has those fetch lands in there, and it has Cavern of Souls in there as a foil form. It really has a lot of EV. So yes, it was going to be successful no matter what happened. No matter. This box is going to be successful, and it was. It's crazy. Wizards of the Coast probably knew that. That's why they put him in the box, and that's why Modern Horizon 2 was so successful, right? So these were successful. Now, just because this one went bad, went south for the winter, but it doesn't really affect Hasbro price. Why? Because the secondary market has no effect on Wizards of the Coast. Oh my gosh. But, so why the hell would they care about EV of a box? Well, here's the thing. When EV goes up and people want to be a part of it, there's like this FOMO experience for the next set. They want to acquire it again. And that's what builds in and brings people in. And when people start talking about how much one particular product is, such as this, then it brings people more into buying your stuff. And when you can sell more product, you make more money. And as long as you're making money, you're selling boxes. And that's a good thing. Whether or not you're talking about LGSs or that's kind of all irrelevant. But more word of mouth is less you have to advertise. Craziness. Cost to acquire players goes down, right? I mean, if you look at Flesh and Blood when its heyday, when there was a whole bunch of talk about how expensive things are, the player base doubled, right? Not much talk on that anymore, but that's okay. Because Wizards of the Coast has filled the void. And you know what? There's an expression in coding that is good programmers create, great programmers steal. And that doesn't mean like literally stealing code. It literally just means taking other people's code and making it a little bit better, right? Because sometimes it's already been done. But if you can prove upon it, then you're making it great, right? So my personal opinion is that Wizards of the Coast was looking at these boxes right here that they put up, even Crimson Vow, was like, we're not selling EV, it's going down. We need something to bring everybody back in. We need to go. We need to get that money. What are we going to do? They sat in their little thinking tanks and came up with a great plan. Hey, let's look at Flesh and Blood. What do they have that we don't? Can't figure it out for the life of me. Oh yeah, they have fables. Fables are rare. You know what they do to the box? They create a weird EV. Yeah, I know I'm holding a Heart of Pindle, which is the worst fable of the set, of any of them. But here it is. It's a fable. Oh my gosh. That's holding value. It's rare. You know what we should do? We should try it. Okay, so they did. And what happened? They produced Kamigawa, Neon Dynasty. And guess what? Its value held. And it actually went up. And guess what? They put something in there that is similar, very similar, yet tweaked to this. They put something extremely rare in the box and they put it out there. Right? So when you look at that and you see that, then then you can consider that they care about making sure at least the EV stays high, right? Or at least goes up in some fashion to create that positive influence, right? To give you the illusion that you can actually make money, right? So how does that work? Well, if people have a positive reaction to something, then it's usually good. People will complain about the price point of particular cards they can't get. It's a thing. But it also is good because it's people talking about your product. And that is just fine. And most card companies will tell you that they care about EV because, well, they won't tell you because they can't tell you that. You can't acknowledge the secondary market. It's gambling if you acknowledge the secondary market. But I guarantee you, they're always thinking about it. It doesn't matter which company it is. Flesh and Blood, they'll tell you that they're not there to make you money. But I guarantee they're thinking about ways to probably trying to make you money. Right? They even say that you're going to hold your product for years and eventually you'll make money. I mean, just because of the Monarch fiasco and that kind of stuff, and more information has come about that from all over the place. But you can't really compare Magic the Gathering to Flesh and Blood. I've been looking at that. Some people say that the box printout for Legends was 105,000, but you know, so it was reasonable that Monarch was 125 or whatever. But remember, the player base absorbed the Legend boxes. It wasn't really just, hey, collectors, investors, let's go buy the products and throw in the closet and wait. It wasn't really like that. It was mostly players just going to the LGSs and buying it out. So there's a difference there. All right. But we're in a different era now. There's the internet and all that kind of stuff. So it's really hard to compare these two origins. I mean, people like to talk about Revised being print to Oblivion. Well, it's the base set. It's just kind of like the unlimited set of Flesh and Blood. So comparing that to anything else other than the unlimited set, which is a reprint, Revised was a reprint. So printing that to Oblivion was stupid. But they did. And it took many, many years to get it to a $15,000 box. Okay, for sure. But are you going to wait 25 years to get that $10,000 where it sits at $500 for a long period of time? I don't know. Maybe. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you don't even have the boxes. And then, but that doesn't really matter. I guarantee that if you didn't care about, if an LGS, or not an LGS, if a TCG tells you that they don't care about making you money, then there's no reason to put any kind of special etched foiling. There's no really kind of reason to put anything of rarity in there. You just, I mean, they want EV. They want to somehow have a profitability on those products. They do, because otherwise it's just stupid. They should have just put it in a nice little package where you can just go buy the set. And anyone who says otherwise is also inclined to not understand what's going on. That is a personal opinion. Now, you can be the biggest business person I've ever met and very professional and understand that distribution maps and all this other kind of stuff. And you can be the most intelligent person in business ever. But if you say that businesses of the collectible card industry, or TCG, which is a tradable card, which creates a secondary market, and they don't care about EV and they don't care about making their players money, then they're missing the point of collectability. They're missing the point of what a TCG is. And if that's the case, then they just really need to switch over. And I think that they're saying that not out of the ability to make their players money, but they can't acknowledge the secondary market based on gambling laws, right? So, personal opinion is that all TCGs are trying to make sure their EV is higher than MAP. And that's really what they should be doing, because that creates a positive player base schedule. It makes the complainers complain that they can't afford particular cards. It makes that advertising a lot cheaper and the cost of acquiring a player a lot cheaper. And it makes people buy the next set faster. These are all the things, right? It's what you want to do. And that's why pretty much Wizards of the Coast copied Flesh and Flood, personally, in my opinion. I don't know whether they did or not, or whether someone just went, hey, I have an idea. Let's do something that looks exactly the same, almost, except different. So there you go. To me, personal opinion, it looks extremely similar in design aspect. Let's keep it rare. Let's make it special. Let's do this thing. All right. Hit the like button, subscribe, make a comment, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right, tell me I'm left. It's all good. All right. Talk to you again real soon.